Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my show. This is a ray of light, and if you're new here to this channel, my name is Deidrae and I am the ray of the sun. And I've incarnated here in this moment, in this time, to shine my light so I can help you radiate your light. Professionally, I'm a behavioral scientist. I study behavioral patterns in people, in cultures, as well as in finance. And I'm a practicing and studying astrologer, amongst many more things. But here on this channel, what I would like to do is just share my wisdom and my knowledge with you. And hopefully it will resonate with you and it will remind you who you are and why you came here on earth and what is your purpose. I just want to shine some light your way. So this series, we're going to continue with the topic that we've been talking about, is the beauty or the essence of the womb. We've been talking about the woman, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And we're going to continue about the generational development of the womb. So back in time, generationally, the divine feminine, or her essence, which is her power, which is her womb, has been diminished, depleted, devalued, and dishonored and violated over time, over generational cycles. Now, we can go way back into time where women or females didn't have any verbal power. Yeah, they didn't have any verbal power. They didn't have any power at all. They couldn't rule major dynasties. And then we can go back to most recent times during slavery, where women were abused, they were separated. And not only were they separated from their families, but they were taken advantage of. They were used and abused sexually, and that diminished them as well. Now, I'm not gonna discredit and say that men weren't abused sexually, because men were also sexually abused. So you see, this is a tactic that the Caucasian at those times that they used to take away the power and the essence of the Black people. Black people, Hispanic, indigenous, these different races were subjected to the Caucasian race. And the Caucasian race used many tactics in order which they wanted to take away our power. Now, there's many references and there many books that you can read to verify this information, where they have recorded actions that they have taken in their books, and they've stated why they have taken those actions. There's a document called the Lynching Story, a Henry Lynch document. You can look that up for yourself, and they give specific reasons why and how they would abuse these Black people to keep them subordinate. But the point in this video is that the womb for centuries have been in subjection to the masculine power, when that is not the way how the divine or God created it to be. They were created to be equal, none to be suppressed or overpowered by another. No one or anything is above you or should be above you, especially as a female. And so this is the time and in a moment right now where there's the rise of the womb, or the womb power, or the divine feminine essence, what I like to call it. Because as a female, we are taking back our power to recognize that we, in and our own self, we are powerful, we are strength, we are confident within ourselves. You see, generational cycles, we have gone through molestations, we have gone through rapes, we have gone through infidelity, we have gone through abortion, we have gone through miscarriages. And each and every one of those actions caused us somewhat, some way, somehow to lose our power and lose our essence and our confidence as females. Now, I can say this because I'm speaking from experience. I have gone through many of these conditions myself, and I have overcome them beautifully. And so that's why I'm able to sit here and speak to you about the power of the feminine, or the power of the womb. And originally, God created the womb to be a vessel to bring life. And so anything that represents God in that way and that manner should be honored. To the masculines out there, if you're watching this video, this is a little light that I want to share with you. The best way that you can honor the feminine or the womb is to acknowledge that the womb is of value, because you yourself came from a womb. Value the womb or that feminine, whether it's your mother, whether it's your sister, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, or your friends, your female friends around you. Honor the womb in such a way that it brings out the beauty of that female. Too many times we see the female essence, or females are not being valued. They're actually being hurt, being used, abused. Men, your strength comes out when you honor the female. When you use all your muscles, when you use all your brilliant minds to honor the female. This is a perfect example that I can give you. Any man that has a female daughter, or whether he realizes they just gave birth and he realizes that she's a female, he's like, yep, I'm gonna get my gun. I get my gun right now. That is him stepping into his power, because the masculine was created to protect and honor the female, because the female in her essence, she is just the embodiment of life, right? She is not necessarily one to be action driven, but she is the supple supplement of man. And for her to bask in her essence, it is only complementary for the masculine to protect her while she's in essence, while she's in labor, while she's in cycle of regeneration or regenerating herself. Imagine if a pregnant female, she's walking down the street, she's harmless, but at the same time, she can't protect herself if anything was to happen to her. That's the essence of a divine feminine. Picture that. Now, I'm not saying feminines are weak. They are very much powerful. But there's a role that the masculines are to play. And I'm afraid, and I must say, the truth of the matter is the masculines haven't been playing their role to honor and protect and bring out their power to honor the divine feminines. But hopefully with this video, we're able to shed some light in that direction. So by the end of this video, masculines, you will now be able to cherish your wife, cherish your girlfriend, because your strength is brought out when you allow the beauty of the woman to be brought out. Only a man can do that. Honestly, only a man can do that. Only a man can bring out the beauty of a woman. And that's when you'll stand in your strength. Now, the women as well, there's a need to be independent in and of yourself, right? Now, I always say this, my future husband, and of course I'm not married right now, but my future husband, it's not necessarily that I will require him to love me, because I will be fully embodying love myself. But what I would require of him is to show my son an example, because a lot of masculines here, and this is by no fault of yours if you're watching this video and if you went through this situation, a lot of masculines and male figures out there grew up without a father. And that's reality. Either they left the home, or they are incarcerated, or they probably passed away before they even got a chance to show their son what it means to be a divine masculine. In my opinion, the masculine haven't been operating in a divine manner in the past centuries. But to operate in your divine essence is to honor the feminine counterpart, your complement, because the masculine and the feminine complement each other. And this looks as if you are using all your strength, all your power to bring out her beauty. Now, back to my analogy, it's not necessarily that I would require a companion to love me, because of course, as I always believe and I always say, you have to be filled with love yourself and not required of anyone else outside of you. Be independent of love and understand that you are connected to source and that you are fulfilled with the love of the divine love of source. So ladies, if you have a husband or a male in the figure at home, teach him or show him how to love you, or show him how to use his power to complement you, so that your son can see an example of how his father treated his mother. And so he can get an idea of how to treat women as well. So in my example, when I do eventually get married, it's not necessarily that I want to be fulfilled in love. My main primary goal is he got to be able to show my son an example of how to honor females, right? And so what does this look like when if there's an argument or something? If you're doing something that doesn't honor me as a male, I'm going to tell you. If you're doing something that suppresses my feminine power, I'm going to tell you. If you're doing something that overpowers my feminine power, I'm going to tell you. And it's not going, I'm going to tell you in a disrespectful way, or arguing or anything. I'm going to tell you out of love because I want you to be better at honoring me, using your power to beautify me, because my primary goal is for my son to be able to see a beautiful picture of the divine masculine in you. And I believe that's a statement, or that's an ideology that I want to shed light on, especially to females. We need to step away from the idea that, oh, a man should do everything that I want him to do to please me. No, first of all, as I always say, you have to be independent in your love. Understand that your love and your divine love comes from you and yourself alone and is connected to source, God, the divine. The minute you continuously be dependent on someone else's love, you become codependent in a relationship. And I've seen this many times in my studies. And codependent relationships don't end well. They end. They end. They end. Maybe somebody might die, but they end. They end. But they don't end well. So when you are independent in love of yourself, you're able to be this embodiment of teachable moments. Yeah. So it's like you're almost a stunt figure. You're almost like a practicing figure for your husband, for your boyfriend, for your girlfriend. And you're basically saying, hey, I don't really need you to love me, but you can practice on me. You can practice on me to love yourself and to show our children an example, and vice versa. I'm not saying that the female should always be the one to correct the masculine when they're wrong. It goes vice versa. The husband can also correct the wife or the girlfriend or whatever. Yeah. But the whole idea is to not be dependent on another's love. But your primary goal is to show an example of divine honoring of each other to your children so they can have a better idea, because we need to rewrite this generational cycle that has been repeating itself, that has not been honoring the divine feminine. So to wrap up this video, the divine feminine essence, or the womb essence, or the female essence, is mostly beautified when the masculine, or the divine masculine, uses all his power and all his essence and all his attributes to first build himself up and then honor, protect the feminine, his complement. I hope this video was useful to you. Stay tuned for the next series in honoring the womb and the divine masculine and the divine feminine being a complement to each other. My name is Thé Ray, and I'm out.